Hi there. My name is Shomik and I'm from the engineering team in Canonic. In this video, we are going to explore how we can easily set up the self-hosted version of the platform using Amazon EC2 and MongoDB Atlas. So let's get started. So there are some prerequisites before you can move on. So one is you need to have an Amazon AWS account to create the EC2 instance. You also need to have a MongoDB Atlas account. And and other than that, you also need to sign up on the cloud version on of Canonic. And once you go to that cloud version, you just need to go to access tokens and create the access token. Now, this access token is going to be used to validate your license and your subscription. So let's create an access token on Canonic. So if you go to app.canonic.dev and if you click on the top right corner, it would take you to the user settings. In the user settings, if you navigate to access tokens on the left sidebar, you will be brought to this page where you can easily create a token. So I'm just going to call it EC2 license and make sure that it has read, write, and delete access all checked. So once your access token is created, just copy it and store it somewhere because we will need it later on. Now, let's quickly create our MongoDB Atlas as well. In MongoDB Atlas, you can create a database. So over here, I already have a project, and inside the project, you need to create a database. So you can just click on build a database, and there you have to choose which version you want. So I'll just go with the free version, which is M0. Provider is AWS. You can name your cluster and just click on create to create the cluster. Now, once that is done, you need to configure your cluster and your database in some ways. So you need to have database access, which is you need to create a user. So I've already created a user, but if you want to add another user, you just click on add new database user, give a username, give a password, and add a built-in role, which is Atlas admin, so that the user has all access to your database, and then you can easily click on add user. The next thing that you need to do is go to network access, and so I'll just show it to you how it's done. Basically, you need to add an IP address. And this IP address ideally should be your EC2 instance IP, which is a public IP, because then our database will be able to connect to that instance. But for now, I'll just add access from anywhere so that we don't have any issues connecting to the instance. So once that is done, your database is more or less ready to be connected. And yeah, let's quickly go to the EC2 instance. So in order to create an EC2 instance, you need to go to services and you need to go to compute and EC2. Now it is going to show you all the instances that are running. And if you want to launch a new instance, you can just click on launch instance button over here. And yeah, let's create a new instance. So I'm just going to name it self-hosted and choose Ubuntu operating system for this. Rest all is fine. So in the instance type, I'm going to choose an instance which has at least uh, two vCPUs or one vCPU and enough memory because Docker is a very heavy process, so you need at least 4 gigabytes of memory. So yeah, I'm just going to go with T2.medium. And yeah, then if you want to SSH into your EC2 instance from your local machine, you need to create a key pair. So if you want to create a key pair, you can just go on create a new key pair, give it a name, and choose the .pem format and create the pair. I already have a pair created, so I'm just going to use that. And yeah, rest all is fine. Now in the network settings, just create a new security group and allow SSH traffic from anywhere. And yeah, that's pretty much it, and you're ready to go. So you can launch the instance. It takes a couple of minutes to uh, get the instance ready and to actually set it up. So just go to instances, and here you will be able to see all of your instances. So this is the instance that we just created. It's still in the pending state. And once it's in the running state, you can just click on the connect button and either connect it via SSH, or you can also use EC2 Instance Connect, which takes you to the platform terminal. So yeah, now you can see the instance state is running, so I can just connect to it. So I can click on the connect button, and like I said, you can connect to it via the EC2 Instance Connect and just click on connect over here. I'm going to use the SSH client, so I'm just going to copy this command, and I'm going to come to my terminal over here, paste it, and this is the key value pair. Before you actually use this command, make sure that you have changed the permissions. So permissions of your key value pair, so it's 2.pm. Once that is done, then you will be able to SSH into your machine. Just add this and it should be ready to go. Yes, and yes, we are in the EC2 instance via SSH. So there are a couple of things that we need to do. First things first is we need to install Docker on this instance. And the reason being is we are going to run a Docker image. So I have written down some commands which you can easily follow, and I'm also added in the description. So yeah, first things first is we will do sudo apt update to update the system. And then we're going to just copy these commands one by one to actually install Docker. So copy this. You can even refer to the Docker documentation on how you can install it, but yeah. So yeah, now the last commands are sudo systemctl start Docker in order to start Docker, and then we also need to enable it. And yeah, and then you can just check the Docker version, and if it shows up the version correctly, then Docker is installed on your system properly. So yeah, start Docker and enable Docker. And then if you do Docker dash dash version, it should show you the Docker version. So that means Docker is properly installed on our system. So now if you want to set up self-hosted, we can easily follow the steps that are on the documentation of our website. So we need to create a folder. So let's quickly do that. Call it Canonic self-hosted. You can name it anything. And yeah, we'll change into that and create a new file, which is an env file. And I'm going to open the env file with vim or nano. And here, the first environment variable that I need to add is the license. So if you remember, we had copied the license from our platform. So we'll just paste that. The next thing is we need to give the Mongo URL, which is the MongoDB connection string. So the database that we created, I think it's ready to go. Just refresh it once. And over here, you will see that our cluster has a connect option. So we'll just click on connect. And over here, you will have the connection string. So just copy it and paste it over here. And make sure you add the username and password for the user that you created. The next thing is to add the app URL, and this app URL is mainly going to be necessary if you're trying to host your self-hosted version somewhere. You can even skip this process, but yeah, this app URL for now is going to be the public IP address of our instance. So we're just going to copy that and paste it over here. Cool. last things that we need to configure for our EC2 instance is to come to security over here and make sure that you have the inbound rule to accept traffic from port 80, which is the HTTP traffic. So you can just come to your security group over here and go to edit inbound rules. And here we'll add a new rule, which is to allow traffic from HTTP, and this is port 80. And just click on this to allow this and save rules. And yeah, now your EC2 instance is connected. So the last thing that we need to do actually is just to run the Docker image, um, which is over here. So we have configured our environment variables. Last thing is to just run the Docker image. Now, since we are running it on EC2 instance and not localhost, we are not going to map the port to 3000, but we're going to map it to the default HTTP port, which is 80. So yeah, if you do that, just need to give sudo permissions and change the port. And then it's just going to run the Docker command and it is going to download and pull everything. And yeah, and your self-hosted version should be ready to go on the public IP address. So yeah, once all the images have been pulled and downloaded, it's just going to run a few processes and you'll be able to see all your environment variables over here. And it's just going to run a few processes and your self-hosted version should be ready to go. So once you see this, that, cron started and server is ready and everything, it should be ready to go. So if I just come to my EC2 instance again, which is this one, and if I go to this public IPv4 address, I should be able to see my EC2 instance. And that's it. That's how you can easily self-host Canonic using EC2 and MongoDB. Thank you.